watching these music moments, you've come down to the conclusion that you're playing your scale exercises every day. We started off with any instrument you're on, whether it's the piano. Using finger dexterity is a must. So what we're gonna do is we talk about our first episode doing spider exercises. These are called a lot of things, but the instrumentation that you play, if you play with a pick, try and focus on doing all downstrokes in the beginning, then doing all upstrokes. So it would look something like down, 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 quarter, 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 quarter. On nylon bass strings, don't generally use that, use your fingernails. So the same principle applies. Try going down and then going up with each finger. Down, up, down, up. What happens when we use these together, we get this finger style motion. Slow but steady, always. Pancake all these ideas on every Monday music moment, and I guarantee you within a certain period of time, if you practice 5 minutes every day doing these concepts and call them practice, you will remember them. We've gone over thusly to date the spider exercises, which get your fingers going, a little bit of muscle memory, helping your arms remember, get a little tighter the baby doe legs, where it's kind of hard to stand up, you know, right when we're learning how to walk. So we're walking our fingers up. What happens is we've only got 3 portions of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. When we go all the way up to the top, we find ourselves getting the octave note. Anywho, so when we do that on every string, we notice if we go whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, we get a major sounding scale, or a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. No matter where we do it, in octaves or in different keys, anywhere we do this scale pattern, we will achieve a major. That's so important to understand what we're going to talk about today. But today's episode goes all the way past spider lessons. It goes past learning a couple basic chords. C for C major. 1, 2, 3. If we play a D minor, it looks like it's relative major, the F. So if you know an F, play an F, throw down that third finger. If you don't, take the spider exercises and go 1, 2, leave that finger. You can continue those out. You're gonna be barring that with your third finger. And then if you keep going, you go to the first fret. So it's a first fret, second fret, second fret. You can play it with 3 fingers, 2 fingers, or dare I say 1 finger if you're awesome. Not really. So where we're going with this is all these are movable. See how I have a pinky off the fretboard? If I move a finger, put a finger over where it was, move a finger to where that was, and bring the pinky on, I get the same shape. If we do this in rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Your fingers have enough time to fall into place with the beat and the stroke. And what happens is they stop doing a layer effect and they start doing a just all together. All together now, all together now. Going together makes it easier. Doing it to the same chord, why? Because you can take the secondary movement, move it up a half step, bar it, and get a sharp chord. When we know how to play a G major, and we can play it like a G major, like this, like this, like this, or a F major, F major, F major, we can scoot that up for an F sharp, G, G sharp, A, so on and so forth. Thusly bringing us to building these chords. If you can get through C for C major, D for D minor, E for E minor, a couple different versions of being able to play the E minor here. You can either play an open string, which is what's generally taught. You can play a G, which is its relative minor, and throw your finger down for the E. Or you could just play a D minor, up a whole step, which theory-wise, D minor, D sharp minor, E minor. So when we use this process, that same chord can be scooched up for your minor. When we see the fretboard as being something as vertical and horizontal, we can play all the chords down here like a C major, or we could take it up here and play a familiar shape like the G major shape, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. C major, just so happens a G is in C, but you can't have that here because it sounds weird. So what we do is we learn how to play with secondary fingering, and when we go up, we just put our finger back where it should be. Another type of R chord. So today's explanation, after we already know that a triad is based off of a 1, 3, and 5, what are the other notes? So ukulele aside, if you have a piano, great. If not, just kind of check out what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Can we see the piano? Yes, we see the piano. So what we have here is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The reason why we teach in the key of C is because there are no sharps and no flats. Technically, if I were to move up to here and have a C sharp, I would have C sharp, D sharp, E sharp. E sharp is an F note, but that's totally okay. C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C. Notice how the two notes which don't really feel like that are fifths away. What we'll talk about in other different explanations is every single chord that we play in a major scale, minor scale, we're going to be going up until we get to the B flat, and then the B will be with a black key, white key, white key, black key. Every other one is going to be equal. And then we just have the decision where to throw our major or minor. So today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, key of C, get rid of our 2 and the 4, and let's explain what those are. When we have a major triad, a minor triad, a diminished triad, or an augmented triad, we can add these other superfluous notes to get different sounds. And it produces something kind of magical. Or in a major, minor, they all kind of have their own distinctive feeling for them. But yeah, the 2 is a sus, the 4 is a sus. So in a minor, we don't really have that sus feeling because our 3 is what determines major, minor. Major, minor. So this other note generally is just an accent note. It's thrown in. So what we do is we use it to our advantage. These two notes make the note feel like it's hovering or it's suspended, and then we get a quick resolution. That's the whole point of a kind of transition of that suspense. So when we're using this, what we're trying to get into the process of seeing here is when we're in a major chord, you have a triad. A sus2 would be noted as a C major sus2. There's many different ways to play it. Come up with your own, but I suggest playing it with the 2 different ways if you're on piano. Adding a 4th works the same way. When we take these intervals, a minor second plus a minor second, we get a major second. When we take a minor second and a minor second plus a minor second, we get a minor third. When we take a minor second and a minor second, a minor second and a minor second, we get a major third. So what's happening is we're seeing addition. If we have a major second plus a minor second, we get a major third. That would stand to reason if we have a major second, major second plus a minor second is a major third. If we had a major second and a major second and a major second, we would have larger chords. So what we do is we stack these intervals. What are the other notes around them in juxtaposition to C? Well, we would have a sus, like we talked about, or a sus. When we hold the 1, 3, 5, as long as we're not putting the interval note down in the bass here and changing fundamentally how we spell it, sometimes it sounds like a different chord, but keeping with C major, our triad root, 3rd, 5, if we had a 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we would have a C major 6 or a C6. Interesting, huh? So in addition to this, when we have a minor second, minor third, major third, perfect 4th, augmented 4th, that gives us our Lydian sound from our mode section. If you go back to, I think it was number 6 or 7, something like that. Long story short, when we go through the process of seeing major third, perfect, augmented, perfect 5th here, augmented 5th, that gives us our C aug, 1, 3, sharp 5. When we have that next note, we've got a 6th note. We have our C major and a 6. This would be our minor 7th. When we play a E minor and we give that flat 3 a flat 5, we get an E diminished. Well, a C major plus an E diminished gives you a C7, which is why it's a super dominant type of chord. The next note is a major 7. It's super light and airy, so when you hear that C major 7, you get this kind of like feeling of happy. And on the scale of happiness to darkness or like sadness or like the modes themselves, this one falls along the lines of major, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or the do, re, mi, fa, with that raised fourth for Lydian. And then mixolydian would start off of its 5th, but the only difference is it would have that flat 7th. It's also a very major, but that major 7 is super major in comparison. So what is this and what does it all mean? What are we talking about and why should you be watching or listening to this on this channel or any other channel? It will influence the way that you're going to play. So let's say you were playing the guitar, yeah? And you wanted to play a 1-4-5 progression in the key of G major. G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F diminished, and then goes back to G major with, F sharp diminished. When we go through the process of seeing G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, knowing that F sharp is the only sharp in there and that it is gonna be your resolution note, your 7, 1, that half step fall off, that's why when you can play mixolydian and know that your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7 relates to the dominant sound that we hear, that triad now has changed. It changed from a G major, and we got rid of the other G, because there's a bunch of G's in this. 6 strings on a guitar, 3 of them are G. G right here, and then G here is the open string if you played open. If not, you're playing it as a 3rd. You could also play the 3rd here. 4th, 5th, 6th, and here's our flat 7. So when we change this 1, or the tonic, past the major 7th, which gives it a nice groovy sound, but it's too happy for that dominant sound, and then it drops it back down to that note. The F note over the top of that is not the F sharp, which is needed for the T-do. It's the ta-do, which is still a resolution, just it's further away, so we hear it as that vibration. When we use that, a lot of the times, and a lot of music I really like, we'll play through a progression like a 1-4-5 aforementioned, G major, 1, 2, 3, 4, so C major, and then C goes up to a D for a D major. No matter where you play these structures, no matter how your fingerings are, you find them leading to other triads. So when you play enough music and you have enough things underneath your belt and you enjoy the feel that what you're doing and you don't want your playing to become monotonous, you find moving out of a key or using something called a borrowed chord is great. The reason why I talk about borrowed chords from another key or another type of way of looking at your majors is because they're universally the same. So for this, I'm going to talk about G major and E minor. E minor is the 6th of G. G, A, B, C, D, E. So E minor has that F sharp aforementioned from the G major. So when I play something like a E minor, F sharp minor, it would work if I was going minor, minor, major, but I'm not. I'm actually going to be going like a diminished over the top of that. So no matter what instrument we're playing in, if we were playing something like, let's say along the lines of a G minor. If you know how to play a G major, you can drop that 3rd and make a G minor. If we play a G minor and we're gonna go to like, let's say the next note, it wouldn't be an A major or an A minor, it would be an A diminished because we're quite literally talking about the key of B flat. If B flat major has only one of the notes that we're gonna be going through, we could see that G minor as being its 6th. B flat, C, D, E flat, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If we only have a key that has 2 flats, those are the flats. Now, on the other side, B major has 5 sharps. So when we count out the 5 sharps of B major, F, C, G, D, A, we're gonna go through the process of seeing the only notes that were in that, the natural notes, are the only 2 in the flats that weren't in these. So the B and the E from here are the only ones in the sharps that don't get the sharp. Cool? So when we're going through the process of seeing this, a good way to hear that would be like a G minor, yeah, and then we could throw in like an A diminished. Oh, don't play that E string there, you can palm mute it. And then go to the B flat major. Hear how that movement from the minor 6 The seventh, which is a diminished, and then to the root, is actually going to be a progression you will move into. The reason why building triads and knowing how to form these chords is interesting, because you could take something like a G major on your given instrument, count out the G, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4. For those of you who haven't looked at the other modals or don't know what a major scale is, the first three are whole steps. So a G to a G sharp is a half step or a minor second. So a G to a is a whole step. A to an A sharp or a B flat is a half step. So I wanted to go on the fretting of a ook, it would be 3, 5, 7, and then a half step to 6. So we would quite literally have G, A, B, C. Now this is a vertical way of figuring out the tones because it's much easier to go up the neck and go when you're just starting. Then we go horizontally. If I was in the key of C, which we teach from, I would say C is open, D is my 2nd fret, E is my 4th fret, A is my 5th fret, B is going to be my 7th. When we go up another whole step, we're going to get a C. When we go up again, what do we have? Oh, I'm sorry, not a C, a B. And then when we get our half step, we get our resolution to our C, our octave. Thusly saying that you can go horizontally. C, D, E is the open string, so there's no need to go to the 4th fret. You go up to the open string. 1st fret is the F because there's only a half step or a minor second between E and F. Whole step to G, whole step to A, I can stretch and go to the 5, but why? Go to the open string that's the furthest away from your nose for the A, half step after the B, and that gives you C. C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, E to F is a half step, F to G is a whole step, G to A is a whole step, A to B is a whole step, and B to C is a half step. When you move this process up with your starting note, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. Doesn't matter if you know the name of the notes. Those will be the notes when your fingers play them. And the reason why we practice them that way is because it gives us a sense of belonging to a chord. So here's the takeaway from today. When we have a major chord, let's say a C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, 6, 7. If I wanted to make a C major 6, which has this sound, it's minor 6 being the one that gives it that other flair. Or if I wanted to have a, like say, a C minor 7, I would have 1, flat 3, 5, and then I would have the 7th, which is the minor 7th. Look at that. If I wanted a C minor major, ooh, look at that chord. Many people know that as the suspense chord in Bond. But anywho, if I wanted a C minor 7, it would be a C, E flat, G, and a B flat. The reason why we have that B flat in there, it is the minor 7th. So a C minor 7 quite literally has the 1, 3, and 5, but it's not a 3, it's a flat 3. So we have a 1, flat 3, 5, and then our 6 isn't in there, our 2 isn't in there, our 4 isn't in there, and then our 6 isn't, and then our minor 7th is. But our major 7th is not. We don't have a B, we have a B flat. So what we do is when we have those 4 notes, one of them replaces one of the roots or one of the thirds and one of the fifths. Either way, you get that tone, and then you can spell out your chords. So if you're just starting and you want to see how music actually works, watch these Monday Music Moment videos. Try and wrap your brain around what a scale is using the spider exercises. Then go to Teeter Totters. What they do is they focus on rhythm while changing to the same chord. Thusly, so when you have those chords underneath your belt, like an A major, a D major, an A major, and an E major, if you can play all of those in different fingerings, you can also play, and you can play what looks like a G major with a bar, and that gives you a G sharp major, and then an A, so on and so forth. You are your capo. You can also use the caged methodology, which we'll talk about in other lessons. We also dip on that. But today is being able to take the Nashville system, or just being able to see your scales over the top of your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 position. If you're in the key of C, we would have C major, we'd have D minor, we would have E minor, F major, G major, A minor, we'd have B diminished, and it will resolve to C. Now when we do this, you can find caveats that are from these C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. When we have those, everything we're always going to talk about, whether it's a major 7 built backwards, so you get this very open, airy sound opposed to just the C minor you find as a bar chord. When we talk about these chord explorations, it's all built off this concept. Triads are 1, 3, 5. When you take that 1, 3, 5, and you flatten any number of those, let's say the third, the median, you get a minor. I'm not playing my minor back here, but if I did, we could resemble it and have these notes correlating. There are inversions up the neck, which also look like other chords which you already know. So what happens is we learn how to play these in the construct and the idea of progressions. The aforementioned 1, 4, 5 would be G major, C major, D major. What were to happen if you were to go to a G minor and borrow a chord? Ooh, G minor, then it would go to a C minor, and then to a D minor. Here's the quest. If you find that the G minor, C minor, and D minor are 3 minors, and you know that every major scale has 3 minors, 3 majors, and a diminished, I bid you, find that other scale using your circle fist, go around it, and see what you're playing. When you do, and you put these scale exercises together and you practice 5 minutes a day, I guarantee you will come up with the explanation that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1 can be altered in the C major, whether you're in B flat, D, C, A. See? When we go up there, it's the same note. It doesn't matter if you know that that is the note that you're going for, if you're gonna be like, oh, that's an E flat. But when you know that A, B, C sharp is the name of that third note, you correlate that to being the 5th in F sharp major or F sharp minor, because it doesn't change, it doesn't alter, it is. Okay, so what we're going to be doing in the next couple Monday Moments is talk about how to put that into relevance with, let's say, an A, a D, an A, and an E. We'll break down such songs like Mama Pajama rolled out of bed, ran to the police station. When Papa found out, he began to shout, it started the investigation. We're going to take stuff like that, use the rhythms that we've already learned doing our teeter-totters, put them together and break them down to have a see how the hand keeps going? Makes it much easier to switch between the chords. Both of your hands will both be independent of themselves. Start slow, then go fast. We'll work on songs that you like, and if you have a request, put it in the comment section below. I will get to it and I'll respond, hopefully. If you like this, please subscribe, thumbs up, ding a bell or whatever, and aloha.